Welcome to Bootcamp Video 2, brother. This is going to be extremely insightful. Stay locked in, no phone. Don't be a fucking pussy. Remove this from your premises right now, and let's get straight into it. So, the first step of mindset in sales, know what the prospect wants and what they have now. Before you shift beliefs, you need to know, what does the prospect actually want from the service? And it's so important to understand what they want, but what they have now, because just think of it as a GPS. You've got a little family holiday trip, staying in England, okay, and you're going to Cornwall, okay, but you don't put the exact postcode, nor do you put in the exact postcode of where you're starting from. Will you be able to create an actual route on your GPS? No. That's the exact same thing with your brain. If your brain does not know exactly where it's going to with specificity, same where it's starting from with specificity, you're not going to be able to create a route in your brain. And it's so important for your prospects to understand exactly where they're trying to go, but also where they're starting from, so this route can be formed, and you obviously just help them form this route as well when you pitch the offer. So clarity of vision is the foundation of change. If someone doesn't know what they want, their mindset defaults to what's familiar, and they recreate the exact reality they say they don't want. Sales equals understanding their vision. Mindset equals aligning them to it, and closing is bridging this belief and now allowing them to take action. So most prospects tell you what they don't want, and that because of that, they focus on what they don't want, and they attract exactly that emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally. Think about it. What happens when you think about what you don't want? You think about yourself doing the thing. Okay. And if our brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality, your brain is now logging that in as your identity. And if your identity directly impacts how you act, that's exactly what you're going to do. That's why whatever you resist will persist. Whatever you tell yourself you don't want to do, you still end up doing, because you are replaying that version of yourself doing it, which means it still gets logged into your identity, and it means you still do it. You've never taken heroin. Actually, I don't know if you've taken heroin, but you've never taken heroin, let's assume. Do you tell yourself, I'm not going to take heroin? I don't want to do heroin. No, you don't, because you've never done it before, right? So best drill I can do for you right now, so that you can understand how our brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, is just close your mind for us. Close your eyes for a second, not mind. Don't close your mind, bro. You'll die. Okay, man. And think of yourself in a 100-story building, and your heels are on the edge, and your toes are off the edge. You feel the breeze. It's a bit chilly as well. You're pretty high up. And you look down, and then you just lean forward slightly. You felt that for a second, right? This is because, as I said, our brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So whatever you replay in your mind will log in onto your identity, and then through your identity, you'll take specific actions in accordance to that person you believe you are, which means those are the results you will see. So you must be so careful with what you focus on, because what you focus on, that's where energy will flow. Think about it. If you're driving, do you focus on the road or not hitting cars? No, you focus on the road. But some of you guys are so focused on not hitting the cars, that's why you hit the cars. Okay? Because you're not focused on the road. It's the exact same thing with your goals. Don't focus on what you don't want, but focus on what you want. Because if you focus on what you don't want, that is what will come into reality. So, your job as the closer is to redirect their focus, give them clarity in their vision, shift their emotional state, and align them with the 2.0 version of themselves. When you do that, their decision will become so much easier. Vision and the foundation of buying. A clear vision gives you clarity, purpose, direction, reason to act, emotional leverage. And when mastering your mindset, vision creates the what, the foundation, and why. Because the subconscious does not follow words, it follows images and feelings. When the vision is defined clearly and emotionally, the mind locks onto it. Decisions become easier, behavior becomes automatic, and you remove resistance. You remove the I'll think about it, and you create alignment. Because sales becomes natural when the prospect becomes aligned internally. You don't need to work harder, you just need the mind system, people. So most prospects think they need more discipline, but they don't. They just need internal alignment between who they say they want to be, what they believe they are, and how they think, feel, and act daily. This is why so many people sabotage. They're trying to act like the 2.0 while believing they are the 1.0, which causes identity conflict, which equals that resistance. Same resistance I had in uni, for example. And this, when you have the identity alignment, that's when you have action. And sales is about removing the conflict and creating the alignment so that they take action like the 2.0 version of themselves. Because it's the 2.0 that pays for whatever you're trying to sell to them. So, for example, I vision I view my vision in two ways. So you have your ultimate vision, that's when you've made it. And you've got your short-term vision, which is your logical steps leading towards the long-term one. This applies directly to sales. If the prospect sees the long-term vision clearly, they will feel desire. If the prospect understands the short-term steps, they will feel certainty. Combine desire and certainty, that will cause them to buy. So the Bible principle that will directly help you in sales is to understand that the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Sales is psychology at its highest level. Your prospect holds the vision, but they don't know the path. Your service provides the steps. You provide clarity, direction, and alignment. You define the what, you release the how, and the path unfolds through aligned action. That's why you guide the prospect through on a sales call. So from knowing this, people, you need to understand, right, that whatever you believe to be true is what is true. Through you guys understanding what I'm talking about here, you have now a view of what your sales call looks like, right? And whatever you believe a sales call to be is what it will become. So if you believe it's question and answer, that is what your sales call will become. But now that you guys understand, right, that a sales call is guiding your prospect through their limiting beliefs, helping them now believe that they can fulfill greater potential and believe that they are worthy of becoming the 2.0 version of themselves. And you truly believe this in your heart, that is what your sales calls will become. So this is why this is so important. You may not believe you're learning sales, but you are learning sales here. You are understanding the psychology behind it. You are understanding the reason behind belief systems. You're understanding the reason behind why people take action. And for you guys understanding this, you can apply in every single aspect of your life, but also in sales. Because this is giving you the understanding. A lot of people teach through memorization, but as soon as the conversation goes a different way, because you don't have the understanding, you don't know what to do. So this understanding is what is going to give you so much leverage when you go into sales. So how to really break the vision down? So I break my vision down in 5 areas for my prospect. They need to have an understanding of mindset and spirituality, family and relationships, the health and fitness they're going to have, business and wealth, and lifestyle and happiness. And why this matters so much in sales, right, is because when you understand the full picture of their vision, you know what's driving them. You know what areas are misaligned as well. You know what limiting beliefs they hold. You know what they truly desire. You know what they failed. You know how to position your offer as the bridge. This is how high-level closers make prospects feel understood on a deep level. Think about it, people. If you work out the 1.0 in extreme detail, you work out the 2.0 in extreme detail, you can see how they are contradicting themselves in the 1.0, how they are saying to themselves, okay, I want to be this 2.0 version of themselves, but you can see how they're acting in misalignment in the 1.0, right? And then you touch on that misalignment because the misalignment is what's making them feel unworthy. They're not taking actions like the 2.0 version of themselves. This is making them feel unworthy. And if you feel unworthy of something, you are not going to have the action steps to pursuing it, right? And it's through that unworthiness they will buy, but by making them feel worthy, that's how they buy it. So remember, vision is the bridge between who they are now and what they create. So without vision, energy will scatter. The mind defaults to old patterns. They stay in the 1.0 identity. They procrastinate. They don't buy because they don't have specificity to their goal. Remember, our mind does not know what words are. Okay, it only understands images, bro, pictures. Okay, when you understand the vision, you create emotional tie to it. That means our mind understands it, it interprets it, because it now can create vision. It can also associate emotion to it. With this vision, energy will focus, identities will shift, action become easy, belief grows, buying become natural. A clear vision turns prospects into clients. Remember, you guys are so focused on this bit where it's action. The amount of action you take determines the results you get. You guys are so focused on doing more. But what drives the doing? I told you guys, it all starts from belief. It all starts from belief. Because the amount of belief you have determines the amount of potential you believe you can tap into, right? And the amount of potential you believe you can tap into determines the amount of action you take. And the amount of action you take determines the results you get. And the results you get determines the belief in yourself. And the belief in yourself will determine the results, and it just continues going. So this is why it's so important to understand mindset, because it's your mindset here as a sales rep which will directly impact the results you see, but also by having a good mindset, you now get your prospects into this frequency, and that's why they get the result of buying and paying. Okay? GPS analogy, let's go over it again. So vision, the destination, strategy, the route. Most prospects are lost not because they lack ambition, but because they lack a map. Your service is the route, the offer is the vehicle, and the closer is the guide. Their vision, the destination. When you explain it like this, they will buy. Servo mechanism of why prospects say yes or no. So people, your mind is a goal-seeking mechanism. Okay, I love talking about this. I want you for the next 3 seconds to look for everything in your room that's red. Go for it. Name all the blue things. See, you can't, bro. You can't name the blue things. Okay, maybe my top you could name, but that's it. Because your mind only looks for what it needs to look for. Your mind is a guided missile. When you tell it to look for something, that's all it looks for. But that is the exact same thing with your goals. Okay? Whatever you believe to be true is what becomes true. Because your mind, remember, is a mirror. Okay? Your reality is a mirror of whatever you believe to be true in your mind. Because why? Because your mind only looks for what it believes to be true. That is why our eyeballs are projectors. So they are scared because they don't know how to get the result. If they did know how, they'd already have it. So your job as the closer is to clarify the what, anchor them into the why, and build belief around who they need to become. Show them the service is the how, and this is how you collapse any resistance. Understand this, people. Understand this, that you need to make your prospect now operate from a belief system so that they only see reason in the sales call of why it will work. Okay? Use the goal-seeking mechanism to your advantage and allow your prospect now to operate from this idea of now only looking for things to see why it works. And the only way you can make them see how it works is by making them understand, right, their vision and what exactly it is they want. By make them understand exactly what it is they want, that's how they buy it. Remember, you need to make your prospect believe you believe what you are saying. If you can do this, they will now take the action steps in accordance to the 2.0 version of themselves. So you always hit what you focus on. If their focus is, I messed this up, I'm not meant for success, I always fail, I don't even want to say this shit. You can see I don't even want to say it. They always find a way to prove themselves right. Because remember, goal-seeking mechanism. Your brain loves to prove itself correct. It will only look for what it believes to be true. If their focus becomes, I'm building the life I want, I'm stepping into the 2.0, I'm ready for change, your offer becomes the logical next step. So sales is changing their internal target. And you can only do this by making them feel worthy. When they feel worthy, that's when their brain-seeking mechanism locks onto why they're going to win. So your job as the closer, walk them through, decide the target, picture it emotionally, feed it proof, take aligned action, and detach from time. Buyers take action because the internal target becomes so clear. Remember, the vision is spiritual and sales is the activation. Vision is received from God. I believe so much in God, people, so you got to understand that my sales methodology is aligned with God, okay? Strategy is built by you. Alignment is created in the sales conversation. Sales is not manipulation. Sales is just realignment. It's making them operate from the higher version of themselves. Sales is helping someone step into the person God designed them to be. When they feel that alignment, they buy with conviction. Guys, let that sink in. I'm not even going to talk for the next 2 seconds. Just let that, bro, I nearly fell. Just let that sink in. Think about it. God is love, love is God. God's main message is for us to treat our neighbors how we would like to be treated. But for us to treat our neighbors how we would like to be treated, we must love our neighbors. But for us to truly love our neighbors, we must love ourselves. And by loving ourselves, what do? We respect ourselves. And if we respect ourselves, we do the things we promise ourselves daily. And if we do the things we promise ourselves daily, we are always, always, always becoming the best possible version of ourselves, right? So think about it. If you are loving yourself, and if you know this, and you are becoming the best possible version of yourself, the conviction you're going to have going into sales calls is going to be insane. Because what is sales? Making someone become the best possible version of themselves. Making someone actually love themselves again. That's why the best sales reps have this alignment, okay? And they're helping that person step into the person God designed them to be. You're making the person become the version of themselves who deserves the life that they want through their belief system. So remember, guys, the subconscious blueprint and why someone buys or doesn't buy it. This is going to be the end of the video of Bootcamp 2. The subconscious builds reality based on the blueprint you feed it. Vision will dictate belief, belief dictates action, action dictates identity, and identity will dictate reality. A great closer will rebuild the vision, restores belief, supports new action, reframes identity, and creates a new reality. This is why sales is one of the most powerful forms of service, and you'll realize, right, that the version of yourself that you want to become, man. He helps people. He helps people become aligned. He doesn't just read scripts. And this is why the methodology I use, you guys are going to love it. You're going to enjoy closing. You're not going to see closing as just doing future pacing, cost of an action. Fuck that shit. Okay? Fuck that shit. What we're doing here is we're helping someone become the best possible version of themselves by breaking any limiting beliefs, making them believe that they can tap into a greater potential, making them believe that they are worthy, actually stepping to this frequency of now loving themselves, okay? Becoming the best possible version of themselves. And now through doing that, that's why they buy. Because they now truly believe that they are the 2.0 version of themselves in that belief system. And because they truly believe it, they take the actions like him. And because they take the actions like him, what it will result in will be them buying. So any closer, any sales rep that does not understand mindset, you will be shit. But because you guys already understand the majority of mindset, just get ready for when I start going over frameworks. It's just gonna be like a walk in the park. But yeah, man, let's get to bootcamp video 3.